now. Hey, Keena Rich in the house. There's Bradley Jones. Ellen Spitz is walking around the corner. We're using Rob, one of my fraternity brothers. What's up, Rob? How's everybody doing this morning? Let me get the chat rolling on the computer so I can keep up. Whoa. 1 second. There we go. What's up, kid? Renee should be signing on here fairly soon. Toys R Us kid. Bradley Jones, the mod father. Jackie, what's up, Jackie? How are you? Doris, she's coming on soon. She'll be on in a few weeks. Can everybody hear me okay? We got all of our notes ready to go for Renee Donovan to be the superstar. Diana Boyd. Oh man, they're all coming. Glenn Watson. Keno Kid, Bradley Jones. So great seeing you guys this morning. Fuzzy Cable Guy. Roseanne T. Al Duff. You're going to love this. Kimbo, what's up, buddy? Ellen's doing really good. We just got back from a long trip. We did a lot of walking, and it was okay.
22,000 steps a day.
we were walking all over all these Scandinavian cities. EJV, how you doing? Susan DP, Iris, Park Medina. Oh my gosh, thank you so much. We have some viewers in from the Philippines today too. So already 31 in the house. This is amazing. Waiting for Renee to log in. Chris Thomason, Magumba from Chicago. What's up, Lynn Brodka? Kay Foots. Dana Boyd. What's up, Nettie?
Hey, Annette. I'm over here. I'm in hiding.
And I don't know if you guys heard quietly. You want to just come say she didn't want to be in the video because she's still in PJs, but let's see her face. There she is. Brian and Michelle quietly said they had 16 hand pays this week. So I'm like, oh my God. So we are still rolling in back, just getting in from our trip, and got off of the plane and immediately went back to work the very next morning. I was dead tired, but I had to go and put in a bunch of reports for a thing. David H. in the house.
Hey, Doris.
Diana Boyd. Thank you, Diana. Did you have a good time? We were trying to show everything we could.
Hugs back at you, Keno Dan.
Yeah.
And thank you, Bradley.
Melba. Thank you so much for the turnout, guy. We're just waiting for Renee to log in. For those of you guys just getting, are we up? We have already a list of future guests coming on the show next week. Sunday the 16th. Dave Smith is coming in. He's a frequent. Glenn Watson. I'm trying to do both at the same time. Dave Smith. He uses the Facebook Keno Nation page a ton. He posts a ton. Frederick Ghost. He uses the Facebook. He posts a ton of wins. And we're going to have Dave Smith on from the Keno Nation Facebook page, and he's going to be on next Sunday. The Sunday following that, we're still going to set it up where John Graham is still set up to come on. So we're going to reach out to John Graham in a short period of time. And at the end of the month, Doris loves Keno. Doris is going to be a guest here in a few weeks, and we have a special thing too. I don't know if you guys heard or not, but I have a fairly fun following in the Philippines. We have one of our Philippine friends, Misty Mitch. She's agreed to be a guest on the show. It'll be a later in the evening because it's 12 hours different. So it'll be like an 8 p.m. show in Southern California time because it's 8 a.m. there. So Daisy Sample, she's asking, how did you do walking?
I did well. I just took my ibuprofen ahead of time, and I was fine. Yeah, I did well.
Yeah.
It was so much fun.
Everybody was so nice.
That cobblestone though, it kicks your butt.
Yeah, all those towns were so old school, and we saw an original Viking church from 1120 in this town called Skjolden, Norway, and it was still there. It was still built out of wood and logs and stuff like that, and they had a restoration. The city of Skjolden restores it every year because it's so old, and it seated like 30 people, and they had private pulpits for the.
Yeah, Dan, I'm feeling better. Thank you for asking. Appreciate it. He's asking if I felt better.
Yeah, this is the best she's felt.
Castor oil. Okay, Keno lady.
This is the best she's felt post 8 surgeries on her knee. So, doing well.
Okay, who's that? Keno lady, I guess it's better than gummies, right? Castor oil.
What?
I know my friends tried to get me to do gummies. I'm like, no.
Oh, you're welcome. We know we're trying to enjoy our vacation, but we did a lot of shorts and posted them, and we had to wait for Wi-Fi in all these towns. So it wouldn't cost our phone bill $1 million just to put them. But we arranged ahead of time to have certain cities we would have service, and it only cost $10 instead of the roaming. So, hey, if Renee, if you're listening, just use the link and log in anytime you want, sweetheart. Sissy Yoshi's in the house.
Hey,
If you guys didn't see,
oh wow,
Yoshi had a back-to-back
Keynote
Handpays on his channel. Make sure you go check that out.
7 out of 8 or?
He had 7 out of 8.
Or was it 8 out of 8?
7 out of 8 and a 6 out of 6 twice back-to-back. So basically the same Handpay twice in a row.
Wow. Just rub it on your knee. No need to. Oh. Okay, thanks, Keynote lady. I'll try that. Castor oil.
Castor oil sounds so like old school. Like,
oh, that's when you take a spoon of it right when you're feeling. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
So hopefully we're doing good.
Oh. Yeah, Ella's doing much better. So she goes in tomorrow.
Yeah.
For a post checkup to see if it's held up after all the travel we did. So, but it feels good today. Still waiting for Renee to click the link and join in. I have waiting for a guest on my phone here. So. She'll be here soon. David H., those Pirates started off so well, and then we were on a trip, and then I saw that they went like 1-9, and now they're back to reality. But the Pirates started off leading the division when we left.
Oh,
Renee, it's in the text you and I. Remember, go back to the text, our one-on-one text. It's in there.
There she is. She's here.
Yeah, Renee's here. Yeah, just don't go to the YouTube channel. Go to the text I sent you on your phone.
Cobblestone. Oh, yeah, my daughter. I went to Europe 30 years ago, 8 countries.
Yeah, Renee, she has the link. It's in the text message.
Oh, nice. Okay, so yeah, Sylvia, those cobblestones. I just keep looking down. But it was so beautiful there. Oh my gosh. And the weather, we just got 70 to 80 degrees, which is probably unheard of. I was worried about getting a sunburn in Norway.
Yeah, we had pulled into Bergen, and we were getting ready to take this tour, and the guy goes, "You guys don't understand. It rained here 3 weeks in a row, and today is the first day without a cloud in the sky." There she is, right there. Boom. Waiting for guest. There she is. There she is. Go ahead and flip your phone back the other way. It'll work. Because there you go, perfect. Good morning. There's Renee Donovan. Well, welcome. How are you?
Good morning.
Y'all ready to go today? Everybody wants to learn. I know you said in the Brian's chat all your dark secrets today, right?
Can you hear?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, you can hear.
She can hear me. Well, welcome everybody to the show. Let's meet Keynote Nation. We have our special guest Renee Donovan today.
Hey, Yoshi's in. Hey,
the Yosh. No, she wants to just show your face.
Hey. Good morning.
She's in her pajamas, so. So before we get started,
in my pajamas.
I'm wearing a shirt. And I buttoned it up for everybody. It is my
San Diego.
Yeah, and it's my day off. So before we get started, we want to reach out. Next week is Dave Smith from the Keynote Nation Facebook page going to be our guest. Following that will be John Graham, and then after that is Doris Carisi will be our guest at the end of the month, and we have a special guest from the Philippines, Misty Mitch. She's one of our viewers from the Philippines. She'll be joining us in about 4 or 5 weeks. So we have some feelers out there. It's awesome. We have some feelers out there trying to work on Al Duff right now. And if anybody in the chat wants to take part in the Let's Meet series, please reach out to me and let me know. It's all about fun. Renee's ready to go. So, Renee, we all know that you live in the Arizona area, but where did you start?
I started off in Warren, Michigan. Born in Detroit.
Born
in Detroit, Michigan.
Motor Town. Motor City.
Yes.
And then when 5 or 6 years old, my family moved to a suburb of Warren.
Now, Warren is a suburb of Detroit?
Yes, it's just north of Detroit.
Okay.
Can't hear you.
You can't. I'm letting you talk.
Oh, I seen your lips moving. Didn't hear nothing coming out.
No. Yeah, don't look. The computer screen is a little delayed. You and I are right here.
Okay, excuse me. No, so we moved to the suburbs. when my mom was pregnant with my sister, I
say
was
hi, Danny
what,
D.
6 years old. I was in Catholic school for a few years,
Mm,
parochial school. Middle
yeah.
school, I was moved to public school.
Now, before you do that, so I remember I never went to private school, but back in those days, it was a little more capital punishy than it is nowadays. Is that
Yes, I had the paddle a few times.
right? Wow.
Yeah,
What put you in that position?
my mouth.
Patrick McDonald said, "Greetings from Dearborn."
Oh, hi. I have relatives in Dearborn.
Okay,
Yep.
so
Been to
you
Dearborn quite a few times.
what's the big thing? I mean, well, what's the isn't Dearborn like famous for like a place called Adam's Ribs? Is that right?
Never been
I don't
there.
know. I don't know.
Dearborn's
I don't.
famous for its Chaldean population.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's got the biggest Chaldean population in the United States.
Here's a fun fact for you to tell all you guys in Dearborn. Do you know the number 2 location for the Chaldean community? It's right here in El Cajon, where Ellen and I live. Detroit's
really?
number 1, and El Cajon, San Diego is number 2. Yeah, we have a huge,
Music
literally about a
exactly.
mile from our house, downtown El Cajon, as all for about a four or 5 block range. All the writings in Arabic, but the restaurants are amazingly good.
Yeah, I was just going to
And
say that. My cousin Kathy, she worked, well, she retired now, but she was over 20 some years. She managed a restaurant there.
yeah, we like a place called Alibaba's, and it's Mediterranean, and it's shaped like the Aladdin tent inside, but it's all feast where they get the big platter and you sit in a circle and you just pick off. It is so good. Um,
And not very expensive.
yeah, it's not very expensive. So while you were in Detroit, you know what? Let's talk about. Is your sister watching today?
No, my sister
No.
is a night person and sleeps during the day.
Oh, okay, we're gonna say hi. Her sister Jennifer. Tell me about you and Jennifer growing up. You guys are about 5 or 6 years apart.
Almost 7 years apart.
Okay.
So she had her clique and I had mine. That
Uh,
age difference really made a
yeah.
difference.
Yeah.
But
Did you look up to Big Sis though?
Sorta.
That says it all. That says it all right there.
But my girlfriends, she hung with their younger sisters.
Yeah.
She was my girlfriend Lisa, her younger sister Amy was her best friend.
Got it.
So she had her cliques and I had my cliques. The age
Yeah.
difference really made a difference.
Yeah. Everybody's asking about your Keynote stuff. We're going to get to the casino stuff at the end of the stuff because we got to she's got some funny stories to tell. So, when you got working age, what were you doing in the Detroit area?
Well, my mom used to manage, she was the general manager for a corporation down in Greektown, Michigan. There was 4 restaurants, a salad dressing factory, a nightclub. She ran it all. So I used to go to work with her young. I used to go to the salad dressing factory, put labels on the bottles at 11 years
Wow.
old. So by 13, I was working in the restaurant.
Were you getting paid at 11? Were you getting paid at 11?
Yeah.
Nice. The
Yeah.
labor law. Isn't it funny how the world's changed, the labor laws, and you can bring your kid to work and put him to
We
work.
didn't go by the labor laws back then.
And I've
I
heard
used
of
to get
Greektown.
paid by the case.
Ellen used to tell a story. They used to take all the neighborhood kids on this truck, and they used to go pick on this bus, and they would go pick strawberries, and you get paid 25 cents a tray, which seems like nothing.
75 cents a flat.
I'm sorry. Let me rephrase it for it. 75 cents a flat, and then but you stack these flats, and it ends up. And what'd you make, about $20 a day?
No, like $1.50.
$1.50. Oh my gosh! Oh, because you eat them all.
I think when I started, I used to make $2.25 an hour.
Oh my gosh! Remember those days?
When
yeah.
I started hourly
Yeah.
back in the day.
And making bank at that 225.
Yeah,
too.
and you were happy to get that.
And your overtime was what, 340 or whatever it was. So
Back when
I've heard
waitresses made $1.10.
Yeah, I've heard of Greektown. Greektown's a casino town, isn't it?
Yeah, there's a casino in Greektown.
Yeah. I've heard Greektown is, I think, yeah.
There's 3 casinos in downtown Detroit now.
Okay. And but besides that, you worked at a restaurant, but you also did something else in the industry, didn't you?
Yes. After 20 years in the restaurant business,
What industry?
when the casinos
Okay.
when the casinos came to Michigan, I went and applied for MGM Grand Detroit, and I got hired. And that was before when they just started breaking ground. And I was hired as a cashier. And while we were doing the training and everything before the opening, they did like a lottery system for seniority and all that. Well, I picked stall number 1. So I was 1 in seniority for the cashiers.
No way. That was that easy.
It was that easy.
Oh my gosh.
So I was the only one with weekends off. And
what a great ball, the ping pong ball you picked.
Well, before the opening, I was promoted to a supervisor and got to keep my seniority.
You get you get the number 1 ping pong ball and supervisor?
Yep.
Al Duff saying he picked potatoes for 25 cents a barrel in Maine. Oh my gosh. All of our stories. My first job, I worked for the California Conservation Corps, and I dug trenches for sprinkler systems in this thing, making like $2 something an hour, and it was backbreaking work. But it was pre-college baseball, so it kept me in shape. But
it was exciting. Like before the open, we got to practice. We learned how to deal. We learned how to play roulette. We learned how to play all the table games to give the dealers and everybody practice.
Yeah.
They would come to the cage with the money to give the cashiers practice. I had to learn, the marker banks, all the banks.
She's dropping all this terminology, man. All this terminology we all know, right?
Sorry.
No, we all get it because we're all gamblers. We've all heard the story. Just to hear you say it from the worker side is pretty interesting.
Yeah. Most of the time, though, I was in charge of rolling the vault.
Oh, okay. Wow.
I used to balance the vault.
So Patrick McDaniel says Detroit casinos are terrible. He said, reliable, which is my favorite set of numbers, got me disassociated. Whatever. Oh my gosh, it sounds so bad. But you said you were in the cage. I'm sorry.
When MGM first opened, when they had their temporary, the Keynote used to kick ass.
Nice.
I mean, my whole family, I couldn't gamble there. Employees could not gamble. But my whole family would come in and take up all the machines. And I mean, they would win. I didn't know, go play this one. You didn't know none of that.
Right.
But I mean, they'd come in and they'd stay all day and just win. And
that was the old days when you're still feeding, like you said, feeding quarters and you're still winning.
Right. But like I said, I used to be in charge I spent a lot of my time in the vault.
Wow.
Which in the temporary was horrible because what they did is they took an old building and turned it into a casino. And there was improper ventilation and it was dirty. I ended up with 3 bacterial pneumonias in the hospital.
What?
Yeah.
From being locked in the cage?
In the vault. Down in the basement with no ventilation.
Yeah, and it's a reclaimed building, so there was nothing.
And you could not wear gloves. Nothing. And you were touching all that filthy, dirty money with improper ventilation.
So you couldn't wear a glove, even though it's like practice now.
This was what, 20 years ago.
Wow.
And on my 3rd bacterial pneumonia in the hospital, they fired me over the phone for violation of attendance policy.
Because you were sick because of the situation.
Yeah.
Wow.
And 2 days later, they actually ended up getting rid of the position and stopping all the rest of the supervisors at the door, pink slipping them and walking them out.
Well, man, it's so funny because with post-COVID, it's kind of happening again nationwide with all the jobs. I mean, my company's downsized staff and minimized positions, and it's pensions are turned off now all across the country. And I'm not saying it's that extreme, but it's in a minute form. It's kind of happening again because companies have learned they can do things remotely, and the employees are I don't want to say they're expendable, but remotely things are happening all over the place. And casino floors are becoming less and less table games, mostly slots, which is you got the technician and then the computer guy that does that, and then you don't got to pay dealers. You just got to pay the guy that empties the till. You know,
Well, we were still coin.
yeah.
This was just when they were starting to go over to the paper tabs. We
Yeah.
were still dumping coin in the machines
Wow.
and stuff and having all the bags of coin.
Yeah.
So it was nasty.
Yeah. Al Duff says fired for doing a good job. Yeah. Too bad. Well, let's get on some fun stuff. That's better. So tell
Well,
about you guys.
it still ended good because
Yeah.
I ended up calling the BBB and got the workforce on them, and I ended up getting disability off them for
Okay.
unfair labor practices.
Wow. Keynote Dan just said he had to join the Chicago Federation of Musicians Local 10208 when he was 9 years old to get jobs because he was touring with the Austin Show Band. That's an incredible story. Dan, Dan has a lot of stories. Dan, we're gonna get you on as a guest in the show because Dan has a lot of stories to tell. I know that for a fact. He's a really nice guy, and I know he's got a bunch of stories. Let's talk about your kids.
I have two.
Yeah.
I have my oldest, Kayla, and I have two beautiful grandchildren from her, two granddaughters.
I'm not gonna get it's Rory.
Aurora, we call her Rory. She's
Rory.
5, and then the youngest, who's they call her my sidekick because I'm surprised they haven't barged through the door. I told them I have a very important meeting. They're on the couch. They've already had breakfast.
The show has made very important status this morning because Renee Donovan just said so.
And Ellie, she's 2. And then I have my son, Kenneth. He just turned 30 this week.
Oh my gosh. Happy birthday.
Yep. And he moved out 2 weeks ago. He was married, lived in Vegas, and divorced. Yeah. And he had been with us 6 years. 6 years. And he just moved out on his own now. He's living in Scottsdale.
Okay. I heard it's 114 in Scottsdale today.
Now this is just July. I don't know what August is going to bring us, but yeah, it's been hot.
Yeah.
Thank God we got a pool.
Yeah, thank God. Keno Dan asked the right question because we're getting ready to segue. What brought you to Arizona? That was my next question.
My mom's sister, my aunt, her and her whole family had lived out here, and we had been coming out here yearly vacationing. When my father retired, him and my mom packed up and moved out. And where I was living, the neighborhood was getting bad. And that was right after I had lost my job at MGM. So I was working a corner gas station just for under the table.
Yeah.
So they packed up my kids, and I had just had a deal. I had my house up for sale, and I had a buyer. So they took my kids with them and moved out here, and I was waiting to close on my house. So the deal fell through on my house. So the kids were out here with my parents for the summer when they moved out here. And I said, well, the deal came through. I mean, the house was up for sale a week and we had a buyer. So I said, I'm sure we'll get another one right away. Well, we never got another buyer.
Oh, man.
And I was back there 7 months without kids.
Yeah. No offense, kids. Mom loves some downtime.
Yeah. So here it was December, and I was flying out to Arizona to spend Christmas with my kids.
Yeah.
And Mom said, screw it, you're staying. Your kids need you. I'm like, well, what about the house? She said, we'll fly, we'll leave it up for sale, see what happens. So here I had one suitcase of clothes.
Wow.
And I was here with my kids, and my party was over.
Wow. So you go from seasonally cold as all get out in the winter, Michigan, to balmy Arizona.
Yeah. My sister was still here with her husband, so they were looking after the house. We never got a buyer. Never got a buyer. That's when the market took a shit in the neighborhood. We ended up losing the house. My house was gone. I lost it, never sold it. So chalked it up, filed bankruptcy, started fresh in Arizona. We ended up flying back in the spring, cleaned it out. And I was looking for a job.
Yeah.
And the wage difference from Michigan and Arizona was just, I couldn't believe it.
Good or bad?
Horrible.
Worse.
Horrible. I mean, I couldn't find when I left MG, I was making over $50,000 when I worked at MGM. And to find a job out here in Arizona that made that, I mean, you couldn't.
Yeah.
So I ended up taking a job as a bus driver for my kids' school.
But think about this before you get going. 50,000 20 years ago, man, that's a lot of money.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you jump, and so your notes say you became a school system bus driver.
Yeah.
So I wrote my notes. You probably saw my joke. Okay, were you the Chris Farley? No, you're not my boss. Or were you the
They
driver?
used to call me Mrs. Crabtree.
That's hilarious. Or were you the nice bus driver on like Forrest Gump bus driver?
No.
No, she said no, Miss Crabtree.
But all the kids had to drive my bus. They had all my kids' friends, because I used to drive my daughter and all her girlfriends.
Yeah,
So they'd all hop my bus,
yeah.
and then when my son started going to school, I had him and all his friends. And then I got transferred to the bad kid bus.
They wanted you there. They wanted you there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I never had a problem. I never had an issue. The kids always loved me.
When you set if you set the bar and they know what the bar is, kids are great.
So that's why they put me on it. I never had an issue on my bus.
Quick shout out, Melvin Slots with the $2 super sticker. Thank you so much for that. Appreciate you. So how long did you do the bus?
5.5 years.
Mm.
I left the public school because I got a job opportunity for a charter.
You mentioned that, yeah.
One of the guys I used to work with went over to the charter school. Okay. And he said, Renee, they need a driver. It was double the money.
Isn't it amazing? I'm always fascinated by the human experience, because our path, everybody has their own story, and how you get from the day you're born to the day we get put in the ground. There's a million ways. There's more than a million ways to get to life and succeed or fail and all these things. And here you are, house abandoned, and you lose the whole ball of wax in that, and you relocate, but we all seem to find our way as long as you just put your nose down and do your thing. And and I think you're the epitome of that too. So you find a way to succeed and take care of your family. That's cool.
You have to.
Yeah. Yeah.
You have to. I couldn't rely. I was living with my parents. I couldn't rely on them to pay for us forever.
Yeah.
I had 2 kids to take care of.
Yeah. Vin Julian says lots of lessons to learn while we're here. It's so true. Yeah. So did you, may I ask you about, you said you got a back injury through the work to the school system?
Yeah. When I was driving for the charter, I used to drive almost 11 hours a day because the charter had morning, afternoon, and night school. And my route,
oh my gosh,
my route was almost 350 miles a day.
Shut up.
Oh yeah. And I used to have to route my own. And I mean, in the morning, I would drive, pick up the kids, bring them in. Then I'd go for the midday route, come back, drop the morning kids off, pick up the afternoon, take the morning kids back, bring the evening in. I mean, it was just constant driving.
Is that one of those old orange school bus things with no suspension?
It was the big yellow ones. No,
yeah, the big yellow bus.
No, we had suspension, but we had no air. No air.
Oh my! In Arizona.
No air.
Is that even legal?
I mean, I would come home and I would have salt rings on my clothes.
Oh my gosh.
It was horrible. You'd take.
Well, you heard it here first. We're not moving to Arizona. Ellen and I are retiring. We're not moving to Arizona. No,
it's only a couple months out of the year that you're really suffering.
Yeah.
I can't take the weather anymore. It's too hot.
But yeah, it was, unbearable.
So Northfield Dan asks, is the cost of living in Arizona thinking about moving? How's the cost of living in Arizona? Because he's thinking about moving there.
Up until we got this new governor, and since COVID, it has tripled.
Tripled.
Wow. Our gas is the second highest in the nation.
Which is always funny, because Ellen and I make the drive because I have family in Glendale. and before my father passed away, we would just get enough gas to get us to the Yuma border, and then buy gas at Yuma, which was always $2 cheaper than San Diego.
A gallon.
We're
$2
right under
cheaper a
you.
gallon.
Well,
Everything has gone sky high.
Mm.
A box of cereal's $5.
cereal? No more. Gone are the days of 2 for $5, huh?
If you're lucky, you can find a special once in a while or find a box on clearance, but everything has gone ridiculous. Our gas is still, I mean, I think just now it's got $4, just under $4.
Well, we're paying 5 in San Diego. We're paying 5.20. Was 5.28 in San Diego down the street? No.
No, four.
The Arco's
four-
4.80, but everything Shell and everything else is over the
That's
5.
at
So,
Sam's Club. Our corner gas station is still $4.39, $4.49.
489.
well, mm,
But yeah, it's gone super. Everything's gone high.
yeah. So, let's see. We got to tell this fun story. So you're married, and your husband's name is Colin.
Yes.
And when you sent me your notes, this is a fantastic story. Tell me the Colin and Renee story.
I've known Colin since 6th grade. We went to school together. I met him in middle school. We used to hang. He was always a hallway creeper. Every time I went to the bathroom,
What? That's
he was always in the hallways.
Is that like dirty old man training or something like that?
Probably. Every time I go to the bathroom or be in the hallway going like to the library, to the office, anywhere, he was always in the hallway.
Wow.
I think we only had 1 or 2 classes together, but I always seen him.
Yeah.
But I knew him all through high school, graduation. We had shop class together. I took wood shop, metal shop. I took all those classes.
Nice.
Yeah. And then after graduation, I didn't see him again until Facebook started. And we were in a group chat on Facebook, and I posted something sexual.
But the time gap between then and when you saw the Facebook thing, it's years, right?
20 years.
20 years.
At least.
Hadn't talked to him in 20 years.
Nope. Hadn't seen him, hadn't talked to him 20 plus years.
No, I cut you off. You said you posted what?
Something funny and sexual in the chat.
That never happens. No.
And all of a sudden he pops up, and he happened to be out on the road in the truck.
Yeah.
And we were chatting, and every day we were chatting more and more. And then we took it to a private chat, and we did that for a couple weeks. And then we exchanged phone numbers, and we talked. And a couple months down the road, he had a plane ticket out to Arizona.
By chance.
And then
it wasn't planned. Okay.
No, it was planned.
Okay.
So then he actually drove the semi out here. He brought a load for the company he worked out to Arizona. So I picked him up. He had worked for Swift at the time. So I picked him up at the Swift depot, and we had plans to go to Vegas. We had 2 nights at Planet Hollywood booked. We ended up staying 5 nights.
Nice.
Yeah, out of his 7. And then after the 5 nights, he come to my parents, met my parents, stayed 2 nights there, and then he went back to Michigan. Well, that's all it took. It's after that, it started the back and forth.
Yeah.
For a year or 2. And then I ended up moving back to Michigan for 1 year. Horrible. It was the coldest, snowiest
oh my gosh
winter on record in the last 15 years.
Wow.
I mean, there was a month and a half I didn't even leave the house.
I've never ever experienced anything like that.
It's horrible.
Yeah.
It's why I left.
Yeah.
So one of the reasons.
Yeah.
So we packed up. He quit his job, and we moved out here.
Wow.
Yep. And
so now you mentioned you guys did that. How long after that did you purchase the sleeper, the big trailer?
3 years or more than that. Well, he moved in with me at my parents' house.
Isn't that great how life just falls into place 20 years after?
Well, my daughter was living in Reno. My son was married, living in Vegas with his wife. So me and him moved in with my parents for 5 months, and then we got our own place. 4 or 5 months. We got our own house. And then because he landed a job right away.
Yeah.
And he worked there maybe a year, and then he went to go work with his dad at the job he's at now. And within a year, we bought our own truck.
Wow. So now, in your notes you sent me, one of the most ironic hilarities. You guys have to listen to this story. So, what did your dad tell you before you met Colin?
Well, because I was living with my parents.
Yeah, this is hilarious, guys.
My dad always used to say, "Why don't you go get dressed and doll yourself up, and I'll go drop you off at the truck stop down the road."
And guess what? You married a trucker.
Yeah, so you can go find yourself a husband.
You found your trucker husband on Facebook, and it actually life's iron. He was making a joke, and it actually happened.
That's what I told him. I said, "Yeah, see what you wished for?
That's hilarious.
I brought you home a trucker."
When you sent that to me yesterday, I read it. I wrote back to you. Life's ironical hilarity is just, it's amazing how things just line up that way. It's so funny.
Yeah, and him and my dad are really close.
Oh,
And
nice.
What's funny is I never realized it. They're so much alike.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. They are
So they
so
must-
much alike.
They get along great then.
Yeah, they get along really, really well.
So now, you guys know Renee and I. We always trade pictures of our wins and our losses and the kids' stories, and I talk about our kids, this and that. We left. Ellen and I. Our son's girlfriend lives with us because her parents were nutso, and there's some other stuff like that. I'm not worried about it. And we took her in. So she's been here for 5 years. Well, we left on our European trip. She was living here. We came back. She didn't live here anymore. So they broke up while we were gone. And it was like, oh my god, and it became a thing. So yeah, love her to death still. But people do their own thing. Yep. Ellen's giving me the eye roll just in case they watch the video. Our kids don't watch my videos. Our kids don't watch our stuff. My Cameron always says because Facebook was started for the young people, and he always goes, "Old people took over Facebook. The kids don't use Facebook anymore." So
nope, they don't.
No, they don't. So Colin makes long haul trips, doesn't he?
Yeah, he's nationwide.
Yeah. Wow.
In fact, he broke down this morning. He's stuck between Reno and San Francisco.
Wow. In the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, on the side of the road. He was waiting for a repair truck. He was already in 3 hours.
Wow. So I know because he's gone for stretches. You and I had chatted before, and so no, he's gone. I got the grandkids today, and they're running me ragged, and blah blah blah. And Colin won't be back for 2 or 3 weeks. Yeah,
he'll go sometimes 8 weeks.
How's that?
Well, the plan was we bought the super sleeper because I was supposed to be going with him. At times like during the summer, not the winter, because he goes in the east where there's icky stuff.
Yeah,
his hub is in Illinois.
So, okay. Does he have to show up in Illinois from time to time?
That's where he picks up his loads.
Oh my gosh, that must be tough. So
it's right outside St. Louis, actually, right in the St. Louis, Illinois border.
Okay. You and I talked. You said you were gonna go. Like you still make a couple trips with him nowadays, don't you? Is that right?
I used to. No, now I don't. I have the girls full time. Because she broke up with Daddy, so Grandma has them almost all the time.
Yeah, that's a good thing.
Yeah. No, it's a wonderful thing, but
yeah, you need some rest too.
Grandma needed a vacation. Well, he actually took this load out this way because I was supposed to go with him, and I said he committed to it before I could tell him I couldn't. So
yeah. Well, that's all cool. So now we're going to segue because Renee and I always trade our pictures of our wins and our losses and I'm not playing this stupid game anymore and all this stuff too. So you right before Keynote Nation 5, because you were gonna go
Yep.
and then you weren't gonna go, and you, okay, I'll go, and then
It
you
got
hit
canceled.
something magical.
Yes.
Well, tell me about that one. It was big.
On my second spin on free play, I hit an 8 out of 8 for $10,000.
$10,000, and it was amazing. That was amazing because you were. I remember you were like,
I was
I'm so
jumping up and
disappointed.
down.
Yeah, you told me you were in tears.
I was so excited because I was like, "Oh my gosh, I'm going to Vegas and I got 10 grand."
Yes, right. And then the truck broke down.
And then the truck broke down.
Then you had to pay for the truck's repairs. So I remember the highs and lows because you were so. Bob, I can't go. I can't go. Like, hey, we just won. I can't go again because I was so bummed for you.
I
Yeah,
cried.
yeah.
You saved the money to fix a truck.
And then within the last week, you were. Did you go and you hit a video poker jackpot?
Yeah, I hit a royal for 4,000.
Well, that's good sometimes, man. Ellen and I are in such a long losing streak right now. I'm kind of off it for the rest of the year. We're
I
going to
haven't
focus.
hit nothing.
But we're going
That's
today.
all I've hit, and I've hit nothing since. But every time I've hit, something comes up and takes it.
Yeah,
It's not
yeah.
like it's something you can put in your pocket and say, "Oh, great, I'm ahead," or I can do something with it. It's like, "Oh, I won. Okay, there it goes."
Denise is asking, what's the place you play typically in Arizona?
I used to play out at the fort, and lately I've been playing at Gila River at Vaquiva in the high limit room.
Baller. She's a baller.
No, they got quarter machines in the high limit. They have 4 of them.
Oh, okay.
And I've been playing these 4 and they've just been paying.
So what town are you in again?
I live in, well, right outside of Phoenix. Buckeye, Arizona.
Okay, I've heard of it.
Suburb. Yeah, it's a suburb.
Everything's a suburb of Phoenix at this point, right?
Hey, but we're getting a casino.
Are you? Your own?
Yes. It's going to be 8 minutes away from my house.
Oh my gosh. That's a blessing or a curse at the same time, right?
I know. My husband said he's moving me away.
No, you're going on trips with me and you're going to sit in the sleeper. Ellen and I, when we make trips out there, we typically play at Talking Stick. So that's the only place that I've ever been to in the Phoenix area. It's big.
Yeah. My dad used to go there for bingo. They just put in a new bingo hall, but I've had no luck there ever.
Yeah, I discovered, that was the first place we discovered Target Lock Keynote on my second spin. That was I ended up getting 120 spins or some ridiculous number. None of the spins hit anything. It just kept re-triggering. I think after about 120 spins, I made $100. It was like, there was something going on, but I didn't win anything.
The only thing I've noticed lately is if you play in the high limit, you win more than on the floor.
Ah.
And there are some quarter machines, 50-cent machines in the high limit that you can play that pay. And you don't have to pay, sit there and play $5, $10 a spin. You can play $1, $1.50 a spin and win.
Nice. Mark from SoCal Kino says he went to high school at Agua Fria High School. Is that near you?
Yes.
Which is right next to Buckeye, yeah, Avondale.
Yeah, my nephew goes there, but that's who I used to drive for, Agua Fria.
Oh, okay. That's a small world. Mm-hmm. Yep. Iris Park Medina says she's with me and Ellen. She's been such a bad luck lady. She's gonna turn around in August. But yeah, I told Ellen we got back in the trip and I didn't get to play Keno the whole trip, and I was jonesing for some Keno. And we went to our local and just got our head smashed in. And I said, you know what? I go, because I'm trying to retire next year, and I go, I'm the more I lose, the more that retirement's going to get backed up. I go, we need to stop for a few months at least, probably through the end of 2024. So I'm going to have fun talking to all you folks, but there won't be many slot machine videos coming out other than the stuff some old stuff. But maybe she's trying to. We have free play today, and she's like, "Do you want to go up the hill?" And I'm like, "I really don't want to go up the hill, but guess where we're going after we get done talking? We're going up the hill."
Well, I've noticed since COVID, these casinos do not pay like they used to.
Yeah, it's something.
I have a stack of W-2s to prove it.
Mm.
I mean, a stack. I have 42 W-2s from the year before COVID.
Wow.
And then after COVID, I had 5, and then last year I had 3.
Mm. And then I was listening because Brian and Michelle, you know what they do? They're so amazing and they have fun, and their career paths allows them to work from home, both of them, and they get to
They're lucky.
they work all day from the hotel room, and then they get to play. They had 16 Handpays this week. It's
Oh
crazy.
my God.
We don't know how much.
He
Oh
he
my
didn't say how
God.
much, but then they're going to have some videos come out. But he said he had 10, and she said 6. So,
That's awesome.
but they are putting their
Vegas
money
is
on the
different.
table, though. Yeah,
Yeah, Vegas is
It's very
different.
even, so that's a good thing.
yeah,
Vegas is a lot different than your locals.
yeah.
Because if you notice, the locals, they're not as busy as they used to be. There ain't as many people going to play.
Yeah. Well,
They used to be packed, and I noticed when I went the last Friday night I went, they were half as busy as they used to be. They're compensating for it.
yeah. Yeah, Mark's true. I should play some 10-cent denominated Keynote. Mark, when I play my 4 card now, I actually play max bet 10 cent, and it's a $3.20 bet on 4 card. Instead of playing 3/4 on each one for a $3 bet. No, what is that? A $3 bet. I actually
It's
play
320.
320,
Yeah.
and it pays $300 more when I hit. Sorry,
They don't have it
if
here.
if I hit.
You
So
did
when
They don't
you
have
You did
they
it.
don't have nickel or dime here.
quarter only, quarter and up.
Yeah.
Wow. What's your game of people? I know a lot of the Keynote people like to. What's your game of choice?
I either play 4 card,
Love 4 card.
because most places, well, at Cuiva, they took out the regular caveman and they got that clunk clunk now. That's what I
Clunk,
call
clunk? Oh,
it. The newer caveman.
plus.
No, it's how they used to have there's an older caveman and then there's the newer version caveman.
Yeah, I've seen it.
I call it clunk clunk.
Clunk, clunk.
That's what it reminds me of, clunk clunk. That's what we call it. I just don't like this newer version, and it doesn't pay as well. The pay scales are less.
Yeah, that's the. When I talk about ROI when you play, is you gotta, because casinos are getting sneaky now. They reduce those pay scales,
Yeah.
and even per denomination, like the quarter denomination payout is different than the dollar, which is different. You got to really pay
Yes.
attention to what you're playing, because if you just get excited and change denominations and just because the numbers stay on the screen, you just hit, oh, let's go to quarters of dimes, and you just max that play, and you hit, you'd be so mad when you hit that 7 out of 7 and it pays $400 instead of $7,000. But the casinos are getting sneakier and sneakier.
Yeah. That's why I've been playing a lot more poker lately.
Yeah, and so my son, he went gambling with his friends this weekend at Harrah's for his birthday. He turned 24 this past weekend, right when we got back, and he noticed that all the blackjack tables on the floor have all went from the 3-2 blackjack payout to they're all 6-5 now. And I go, the house is taking their advantage back to the players. If you play blackjack correctly, the advantage is like 1%. But if you take from 3-2 to 6-5, that goes to 0.
Right.
I mean, the player's advantage is nothing,
It's almost gone.
you're relying on double downs and blackjacks. But if they take the 1.5 away from the blackjack, that's the player's advantage. It's gone. So I know the strip, because the strip thing is you can only play 3-2 if you play single deck or double deck. All of the 6-deck shoes and 8-deck shoes, and they're auto shuffler like on the cruise ship. They deal a hand, they shove all the same cards right back into the shuffler. You literally could get the same 2 cards on every hand.
Right.
Yeah.
Instead of waiting until the shoe's empty to shuffle it.
Correct. Yeah. Every table on the ship was auto shuffler, where they put them all back in after every hand. So if you get dealt 16 and you go, man, I've got 16. Like I was playing the one table I bought it for $300. I got dealt 10 hands, lost all 10. I got dealt 14 or 15 or 16, 9 out of the 10 times. And I finally got dealt to 20 and the dealer turned over a blackjack. I go, man, that wasn't even fun. Wasn't even fun. So,
Nope.
and they have all the add-on bets now, the Buster bet and the 777 bet and the 22 bet and the how many times you can, if you bet, it was $5 on the ship. If you bet $5 and you get a 20, you get 41. But if you get if they're suited, you get 91. If you get 2 queen of hearts, it's 20, and all these other things. And everybody's betting, because that's where you can, it's like playing a slot machine on the table games now.
Wow.
But the return, yeah. the
Your
ROI on those bets is
pictures
terrible.
from your pictures from your cruise. Oh, they were gorgeous.
You know, it really was. Seeing we went to, it was 22 days on the ship, and we went to 15 cities. Now, mind you guys, it's a trip of a lifetime, and Ellen and I, of course, gamble. But the trips we went on, the 22-day cruise only cost us $400 each. It was 180 for the first 9 days and another 210 for the second part, because it was through the Carnival Players Club. So
Mhm.
the Ellen's always very good about finding the cheapest flight, and we upgraded because it was her 60th birthday, so we upgraded to premium seats. We had our own two seats in our own little section, and it was worth the extra because I'm a bigger guy and she's got the knee that still doesn't quite bend, so little more space. But once we got there, the trip was almost free. And then we just, yeah. But of course, we got our asses handed to us in the casino, so we ended up paying for it that way too. So, which is why they want you. Which is why they want you on the trip. So, but yeah, seeing cities like the castle in Copenhagen, it looked fake, but it was so real. It's been there since the 1600s, and that's where the king and queen of Denmark live. And they had the changing of the guards, and the koi pond was teeming with koi, and everything's so shining. All the roofs are made out of gold, and then the Norway stops. Everything was so beautiful. The glaciers were all thawing because it was unseasonably warm, and all the waterfalls, 400-foot tall waterfalls, and we just saw things. And the air is so clean because it's just all snow thaw. And we got to Bergen. We did that live from Bergen on top of that mountain. And every town we went to got smaller and smaller and smaller. So Bergen's the second biggest town other than Oslo in Norway. So that was like what they said, it was 1.3 million people. Well, that San Diego alone has 3 million people. It's just our city. And so, and then they said the whole country of Norway is 5.5 million. I go, so San Diego is literally 1/3 of the entire country. So by the time we got to our last city in Norway, the population was 250 people in this town of Skjolden. And there's really nothing there. There's a mom and pop grocery store and water everywhere. And we took this bus tour, and the road, it says for 2 cars, but it's no bigger than the size of our sliding glass door to the backyard. And this bus driver, probably the greatest driver I ever saw in my life, because when cars would come, he would shimmy the bus over to the side of this cliff, no railing, mind you. And I'm like, and the bus driver's name was Shell, and I go, Shell, you're the best driver I ever saw. You're scaring the shit out of me, man. And I'm in the front row, so I'm seeing nothing but the sheer cliff, and he's just turning the wheel and doing his thing, and not a care in the world. I'm like, oh my god. So then, but all the town, like this one town, and this, because we were crossing fjords, and this one town, 100 people lived in this little town, and all they did was support the ferry system. There's a pier on one side, and all the way across the pier, and these two little towns, and it looks like it's like you're on the Disneyland ride with the fairy tale land. The little red and orange and yellow houses that are all stacked together, and it was so pretty, and everybody was so nice, and we bought a pastry in every town we were in because it was so fresh, and it was, man, so it was a trip of a lifetime. So I can't, and we wanted to post shorts because you and I talked before we left. I said, I don't want to be an employee of my YouTube channel because I'm on vacation, right? But we wanted to post enough. And you gave me the best advice, is don't worry about us, but we'll make do. And I said, you're right, but I I still want to share, and because I'm kind of a goof, and Ellen always, do your thing, don't put me in, don't put me in it, don't put me in it. So Ellen hates the camera. She's sitting here the whole time, but she doesn't want to be on camera. So even though she's like the angel of the world over here. So any more questions? Did you have a good time today?
Yes, I did. Thank you.
Yeah. Everybody would, if you guys want to take part in this little fun series, it's so fun. Just give you a chance to tell your story. Any last questions for Renee before we get going? Yeah, Iris, 22 days, 400 each. It was crazy.
Just the taxes.
We just paid the taxes and the port fees, which was nothing, and the trip was free. And the room we had on the ship, we had it for both
We had
trips.
an extended balcony. They said it was a
Extended balcony, and we asked for a handicap mobility room because she was still moving a little slower. The doors were all, you push a button, the doors opened up, and they were
Wow.
double wide because for the French wheelchair access. The bathroom in those rooms are much, much larger because of spacing. So, and the balcony was extended. So when we're pulling in fjords, we can be on deck, but we would, and it's private. So we'd sit out there and go get her a cup of coffee and sit there and watch snow going by and waterfalls. It was just the most picturesque thing.
Oh, beautiful.
I would recommend visiting Norway because it is just the most pristine environment. Now, of
Kinda like
course,
Alaska.
we caught it on the most unbelievable weather ever because the day before we got to Norway, they said it rained 3 weeks in a row.
Oh, you're
So,
kidding.
yeah. But yeah, it was amazing. I'm glad you guys got to see some of it. And we're going to do a montage video to post all of the stuff that weren't shorts together. It'll probably be like a half an hour video just because I get a little more in detail about things. But yeah, it was. And we're going to Greece in October. So,
Oh,
$180
that's funny you say that.
together.
Me and my friend Belinda, both our birthdays are in October. She's the 24th. I'm the 26th. We want to go to Greece in October for our birthday.
oh my gosh. So Carnival
Yeah.
Cruise Line, we're actually going on the exact same ship we were just on. And this is how funny this is. This deal was, it's $90 a piece for this 10-day cruise.
Wow.
$90. So 180 total was the fees for this cruise. We're flying into Rome, and Ellen always finds these deals on. We're flying Aer Lingus.
Yeah.
And they had some special. So we're flying into Rome, staying 2 days in Rome, and because Rome is amazing, we were in
And then
Rome.
we have a little layover in Dublin, so we're gonna go run to.
Yeah, so on the way back, the flight
like an
lands
8-hour
in Dublin, Ireland. So we're gonna get off, run to some Irish pub, and drink a fucking drink some a Guinness dark molasses beer, whatever that stuff over there. And you don't remember is when you go there, they like their beers room temperature, and we're so ice cold America, but their beers are room. And when you ask for ice, they go and they bring you one cube. They bring you one, not a glass of ice. So. Yeah, it's a different world, and it's fascinating. So yeah, we're doing October, Greece, and then I'm either retiring next December 13th. That's my hard date, but we're also planning 20 days in Australia and New Zealand on a cruise. And once again, that cruise is $320 total for the two of us for 20 days in New Zealand and Australia. We just have to get there. And so if my boss says, "We're taking a lot of time off," I go, "Well, I'm still going. If you don't like it, I'm just going to retire now." And so, anyway, you got to live life. We're living life the best we can. So yeah.
Enjoy it while you can.
Yeah. Any last things for Renee? Thank you so much for being here, Renee. You and I are friends. We talked a lot. We're always texting videos.
I know.
Renee sends me funny videos to my messenger probably 3 or 4 times a week at least. Some guy falling down or some guy doing something goofy or whatever.
Just to give you a laugh.
Absolutely, because I'm in my job and I'm plugging away every day, and all of a sudden it'll go bing, and I go, "Oh, there's Renee. Let me go look at this. Let me stop what I'm doing and look at this video for a second." So
Send her that baby.
I appreciate those very, very much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for being here. It's wonderful.
Thank you.
It's wonderful to see you in person. Ellen wants to say she wants to say goodbye. The first thing this is a story for everybody. We were at the first, it was Brian's birthday weekend, and I had never met Renee in my life. You remember this. And I'm sitting there playing. And
I had talked to you online. That was it. Yes.
And I don't know you from Adam. I didn't know your face. Some lady walks up and she goes, "Hey, sexy." And I'm like, and it was you. Because you knew my face, but I didn't know yours. So caught me off guard. So I'll never forget that day because nice little boost to the ego right there. Appreciate you so much.
Oh, you're welcome.
Thank you so much for being here today. Thanks for guys watching. Appreciate you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next week is Dave Smith from the Facebook Keynote Nation page. So love you, Renee. Talk to you soon. Okay.
Love you guys too. Take care.
I'm sure I'll see a message from you or time through this week.
You got it.
Bye, everybody.
Bye. Love you.
Okay, love you too.